So this is my main native plant growing section in the back garden. I've got this wooden bed that I made out of recycled fence palings. It was actually quite a pain to make because the timber is already a really dense hardwood, but then because they were quite weathered, it was prone to splitting, and it was also really difficult to drill pilot holes in and put screws into. But I got there in the end, and I'm really happy with the result. It's been a vegetable bed before, but now I just grow natives in it, except for obviously there's some carrots and there's a random tomato. Again, I had some volunteer tomatoes, so I left them in here, and these carrots were in here when I moved the bed, so I just let them go because I was going to try and grow vegetables here, but during winter especially there's really just not enough light over here to grow anything. Anything I do grows incredibly slow, so I decided to turn it into a native bed that's going to have some different herbaceous plants and a couple of little shrubs, and hopefully they're all shade loving, but will also handle quite a bit of sun for the summer, and hopefully provide me with some nice flowers and some good pollinator attractant capabilities. So what I've got in here besides the random vegetables is down the front, which you won't be able to see, but I'll do some shots of the garden, is I've got a mentha. I can't remember this species name, but this is a really nice sort of prostrate matting plant. It gets these really lovely tiny white flowers, and it also smells really nice. It smells like mint. Then I've got a couple of these guys here, which are Plectranthus parviflorus, cockspur flower. These come up everywhere around my yard. I had a really big one in a pot that went to seed, and now they're just coming up crazy. So really lovely plant, really hardy. They can handle a lot of conditions. They can grow in pretty much no soil, and they have really excellent flower spikes that are really nice blue flowers, and they attract a lot of beneficial insects, including hoverflies. I decided to chuck them in this bed because I had them growing in the bricks and the pavers, so I needed to pull them out anyway. I thought I'd just chuck them in here and see how they go. And they're doing really well, and I've got 3 of them in here. It's probably all I'll have. If more come up, I'll probably take them out because they can get quite large when they've got nice conditions and enough soil. I've also got, where is it, over the back here, I've got the Butylon, Butylon oxycarpon. That's a native shrub. They can get up a little bit, but it should be right there in that corner. I've also got, which again will be hard to see from this angle, but I'll do some footage over the top, but I've got a Lagonophora gracilis, which is a little native daisy. It's called a bottle daisy. They've got these really tiny white flowers, and they're quite pretty. We've got some Aplisminus. I'm not sure the species on that one, but it's a basket grass. Again, it's just a nice ground covery thing. It looks nice. I really like it, and it's just gonna essentially help create a green mulch in this bed. I've also got a little bit of Lobelia purpurescens, which is called white root. That's eastern coal flying over, or a Chernobyl cuckoo or something. I think it's Chernobyl cuckoo. But yeah, I've got some Lobelia purpurescens in here. They have really nice white flowers. Again, a little ground covery thing. Nothing in here really gets up too much, except for the Butylon. And the Plectranthus will probably get about this high. Then, what else we got? Over the back, I've got an Adianthum, which is just a common maidenhair fern. Then I've got some Tetragonia tetragonioides, which is the Warrigal greens or New Zealand spinach. I just had one that a friend gave me, so I chucked it in. It's not doing super well. It may or may not sort of live there, but I'll just leave it, see what happens. And then in the front, I've got a Wayland Berger gracilis, which is growing very sort of tall and leggy, but I like it, so I've just left it. Then we move on to the pots, which I might move the camera around for. I'll start over here actually. I've got right here I've got an Angophora floribunda, which is the rough bark apple. They're a really large tree. I planted this for my son. My wife and I decided to plant a tree for my son. Obviously I have a courtyard and not a property, so I've planted it in a pot. Hopefully one day when we have our own place we can put this in the ground somewhere and it will grow really big and look really awesome. But they're also one of my favourite trees. Over the back, which is sort of sticking its head out a little bit, is a Melaleuca decora. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this plant. It was just getting thrown in the bin, so I grabbed it. Didn't want it to go in the bin, but it's sort of struggling a bit because I'm neglecting it a bit. But I may or may not try and bonsai it or do something like that with it, but I don't really want to have another big tree because I can't really grow a big tree in a courtyard. The other thing I have is Melaleuca squarosa, and in the bottom of that pot there's some more mentha, so that's a really cool plant. Over this side we've got Indogophora australis. There's a bigger Indogophora australis. This was actually grown from seed, this little one, from that plant. I've got a Pollinator, I can't remember the species name off the top of my head, with some more Wagenophora. Another Pollinator over here, this is Pollinator villosa, and there's another big Wayland Berger in here and some more Wagenophora. I'm sort of interplanting the plants with some little things. This is a Dilwinia floribunda. I've also got a Pelargonium astral in there, which is a named geranium. Another Butylon over the back. A Homolanthus stylingifolius, a small leaf bleeding heart, and a Backhausia citriodora, which also has edible properties. You can use the leaves as a sort of flavour. They're sort of cinnamony in flavour. So I'm going to go tripodless for a little bit because the rest of the stuff's kind of sporadic around the place. But over here we have mostly my native orchids, so they've all pretty much finished up now, but I have some Pterostylis curta, which this red pot had in it, and that pot over there has. There's a Dendrobium kingianum there, which didn't flower this year, unfortunately. Dendrobium speciosum. And over here we have Psychochilus falcata on the right. In the middle is Bulbopharm shepherdii, and on the left is Docrylia territifolium. And then I have, up in the background there, I have a Pyrosia rupestris, which is a fern, a rock felt fern. Got these little dishes here which I just don't have pots anymore, so I fill them up with water, especially on hot days, for the lizards and the birds to come and get a drink. Then just some random tube stock, so native stuff. I got a couple of figs, a Ficus obliqua. There's a Brachychiton populaneus here, which I'm going to bonsai. Apparently that was connected to a spider web. I've then also got some Podocarpus alatus, which is the Laura plum pine in the background there. Up here somewhere, I'll see if I can find it, is one of my residents. It's probably a bit hard to see, but there's a orb weaving spider in there that comes out and makes big webs across the courtyard every night. Last couple of nights has been doing it in a place where I don't have to walk, which is nice because I don't have to disturb it. And in the basket that it's sort of hiding on is a Chrysocephalum apiculatum, I think it is. It's a desert flame Chrysocephalum, and it's just coming into flower now. It looks really cool. You can see a little solar panel for some lights, which I need to re-string up. Over on the outdoor setting, besides a horrible mess, is my few bonsais. So this is a Ficus rubiginosa, which I need to do some maintenance on all of these, but especially that. I've then got eucalyptus, I cannot remember what species that is, and a Eucalyptus amplifolia, which is doing pretty well, although I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's kind of a bit of a random one at the moment. I might repot it soon and see if I can get it to start getting some new leaves somewhere else besides just up here. I'm not really great at bonsai, I just enjoy it. It's just a bit of fun, really. In this basket, if it's still alive, which it is a little winter time. Still kicking on, which is good. Obviously not a native, it's one of the edibles. But then over here, besides some jasmine, which is coming over from the fence, so I can't actually really do much in these actual gardens because I'm renting, but was able to do a little bit. So I've put in a callistemon Kings Park special. Again, not a native callistemon, well, it is a native callistemon, not a local native callistemon, but they are really cool, and it's what I could get at the time. And then in here is just a mix of different ground covers and stuff. So I've got native violets, which are the purple and white flowers. There's a Pelargonium astral, which is a native daisy, not native daisy, native geranium. Got a Plectranthus, which is self-seeded. There's a couple of them throughout there. There's a lot of Pollinator cyanea, which is this one here, which a lot of people confuse with Tradescantia fluminescens, but it's not. It's actually a native, and it's got edible leaves, which are pretty high in vitamin C. And sticking its head up through here and not doing so well, it's getting smothered out by everything else really, is the Brachyscome multifida, which is a cool native daisy. And then up the back there, which probably hard to see, there's a little thing that looks a bit, that little bit there, that's Cotula australis, which is a random little native daisy annual. There's also a Wayland Berger in here somewhere. Here's the seed pod for it, but that's another Wayland Berger gracilis that's come up on its own. And then up behind all the annoying agapanthus is some cool shield ferns. Over here is one of my newest additions to the garden. This is just a little pot storage shed I made. So both these boxes used to be storage boxes for camping that fit. I had built specifically to fit into my old car, but I didn't do a very good job of them. They're a bit crap. It was when I was first sort of getting into woodworking, so they're not very good, but they were good enough. And I was just using them as garage storage, but I decided to screw them together and change things up. I mean, just ignore the crappy craftsmanship on it, and turn them into a little pot storage. So I got, this is all of my plastic grow pots in that one, and down here I've just got some terracotta pots and some random tags. So I've got some tags from plants that I've purchased recently, but I also keep these random like lettuce tags and pak choi and things like that sometimes, just because if I sow some seed, even if it's not technically the same variety, I sometimes use them as markers to know what I've sown. Then just because I wanted to squeeze some more plants into the area, I put in a paper daisy here, Bractiana, and then we've got a Scavola amula down there, which is doing exceptionally well at the moment. These are only recently planted, about a week ago. And then I've got a Brachyscome multifida, which is doing far better than the ones in the garden. In terms of native stuff, I've got all this white cedar, which I need to tube up and do something with, but I sort of don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I think I might tube it up and donate it to one of the bush care groups that I do some work with. And then down here, these are one of my favourite parts of the garden at the moment, because you can see them from inside as well, but these are my flannel flowers, the Actinotus hillanthii, and they are doing exceptionally well at the moment, putting on a really great display. I've also interplanted some Lagonophora in there just for a little bit of ground cover, but yeah, they're doing really well, really happy with them. Lots of pollinators have been getting in there, and yeah, really happy about that. So that's it for this one. I hope you enjoy coming around and checking out my garden and what's going on in it. I'll hopefully be putting out some more videos soon about some of the different stuff going on in the garden a little bit more specifically, so just an overview of it. Yeah, that's it for this one. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.